Good morning. Where are you waking up today? Where are you today? Want to go somewhere else? Let's go to a house by the lake. Just a little house. Just enough stuff inside to survive. Maybe a bed, a chair, some kind of a stove, and a window to look out of at the lake. I like the idea of going to a lake house and keeping it small, humble. Keep it humble. All right, let me show you how I painted that. All right, good morning. It's Monday. I'm gonna put a little house here. You know what, instead of using the ruler, well, let me just sketch it out first and maybe I won't need the ruler. I just want a little house here on the edge of a lake. It's a very simple house. Just trying to see how big I want that roof to be. I'm making it up as I go along. The weekend goes so fast. Hopefully your weekend went well. Ours did. I guess that means we didn't do much. No, we didn't do much. That's okay though. It's okay. So today, this picture is inspired by a couple of different authors, poets, different people who've written about small houses on a lake. I'm trying to think how I want this to look. Maybe there's an upstairs up here. A little place up there where you could look out onto the lake. Maybe a little porch or something. Some kind of a chimney over here. Some kind of structure there. Yeah, that looks better. Something like that. A little bit of perspective going on. There's a window up there. It is better to use a reference photo, but I'm breaking my own rules today. Just trying to figure out how to make this house. Maybe some windows on the side. upstairs loft. There's a little porch on the house. So you can look at the lake, because ultimately the beauty of this house is that there's a lake. I'm not sure I like that thing on the roof though, that little loft. Let me make it more defined. Let me decide a couple of things about it. Don't ever have me design your house. An architect I am not. I am not an architect. Just trying to create something cute, something a little bit busy. I want this to be a bright day too. Very bright. We'll put it right here by the lake. So the lake is right here. The edge of the lake is right by that house. The only time I've ever actually been in a house like this, I had to stop myself and ask myself if I'm telling you the exact truth. I can't remember if I've been in another house, but I have been in a house like this, but it was a cabin. And maybe that's what this is. This is a cabin. And the cabin I was in was in a campground. So I talked about the camping before. Here we go. There's our little house. It's a cute little house. A cute little house. We'll have the sun coming this way. Well, let's just see how that works out, because I think that's the focal point of the whole house. So let's just start with the house and start with the shadow, I guess. Let's just make some dark. I'm going to use violet as the first color. Just brush it in there. Get it looking shadowed, shaded. Get the shade on there. Give a little shade to the house. A little bit of shade everywhere, little shadows. I should show it underneath the edge of the house. Maybe the sun is coming down like this. So the shadow goes this way. There we go. The same thing would happen up here. You have a little bit of shadow here. And over here on the chimney. Over here on the porch. I think this side would be more shadow. There we go. It's kind of okay. And of course the front would have shadow. Let's darken that far side, the near side, whatever side that is. Let's darken this one over here. I'm using the watercolors that I've been using for a long time now. I got these at Hobby Lobby, and I've had more than one person tell me that I'm using amateur paint, student grade paint. So if you're looking for professional paint, you got to look for that label that says professional. So maybe I'm using amateur paint ignorantly. I didn't know. I was using amateur paint. All right, let's create a little bit of a shoreline here. A little bit. Okay. All right, now a little bit of a sky. I'm going to do the typical thing. Just make some kind of dirty water blue sky. A dirty water blue sky. Very light. Keep it very light. Make sure it has some blue in it. And of course a lot of this is going to be covered by trees anyway. But just something to peek through. Some blue to peek through. Blue to peek through. Give us some blue to peek through. So let's talk about art just a little bit. One of the things I like to do, which I don't always do, but one of the things I like to do is to contrast things. So dark and light is a contrast. And so is like colors that contrast with one another. And one of the things is to contrast the warm and the cool. So far I only have cool colors on here. I have purple and I have this blue for the sky, which is going to dry nicely, I think. And it's mostly going to be covered. And then later on when it dries, I'll probably put some yellow onto the house, and that's a warm color. So you see it contrasts the warm and the cool. And then the lake itself will have a lot of reflections from the house and from everything that we're doing here. And it's daytime, so we want the house to be lit, of course, and we want the house to be, gotta wait for it to dry, I think, a little bit more. If it was nighttime, we could have the house with light coming from the windows, like there's a light inside, which I love those kind of paintings. They're really beautiful. But this is a daytime, and I think the windows should be dark. The door should be dark. So it's just, this you can't see in the house really because it's so bright outside. You can't really see. And in a way, I'm not painting now, I'm drawing. I'm drawing with paint. I'm sure you do that too. Little areas to indicate the door and the windows. There's probably a back door on this cabin. What do you think is inside the cabin? Well, there's obviously a place to sit. So there's obviously chairs, right? What about a bed? Do you think they sleep in this cabin? Probably. Why would you have a cabin that you couldn't sleep in? Sleep is an amazing thing. It's like God made every creature need to sleep. Every creature. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be. I don't really know. But it seems to me every creature sleeps. And the sleeping is all different ways that we sleep. The animals, when you see like a dog sleeping, they seem to dream just like we do. They kick their feet, you know. They seem to have very vivid dreams, which to me would indicate they have a very active mind. I was listening to the radio Saturday, and the program was one of those programs where the host is an animal expert, a dog trainer specifically in his case. And he had a caller who asked him about his dog. He said the dog doesn't come home. Well, he doesn't come back to him when he calls him. He said, my dog doesn't come back. He said he's a not a German Shepherd, a Saint Bernard. And he is always worried when the dog runs because he doesn't come back when he calls him. And the guy says, he never comes back? And the man says, oh, well, he eventually comes back. So then the host of the show says, well, what do you do when he eventually comes back? And the man said, oh, I'm usually really mad at him. I yell at him. And he told him what he really did. So the host said, well, that's why he doesn't come back. And I thought, isn't that interesting? So don't yell at your dog when he comes back. Praise your dog. Say, oh my gosh, I love you so much. Here's a cookie. Here's something to eat. And that's pretty interesting, isn't it? So the dog says in his brain, oh, if I come back, I'm going to get a cookie and I'm going to be praised. So next time he calls him, he's going to have that in his mind. I'm going to come back. I'm not going to run away. I've had my share of that experience, and I never had that information. I should have known. But I didn't have it happen too many times. But it always worried me, you know, when the dog got out of the house for some reason. There's our little house right there. What do you think? We've got to have a lot of spots over here that have little bits of shadow. A lot of things on the porch. I don't know, maybe there's a chair. Just little things that are casting little shadows over here. We'll do more. And of course there's a shadow on the ground from the house. Just little things here. Little things on the porch. There we go. This is our little cabin. Our little cabin in the woods by the lake. All right, now let's get some very, very yellowish green. Let me see if I have some yellow in here that I can use. Right here. That's good. That's a very good yellow green right there. It's not as bright as I want it to be. a better yellow over here. So this is a perfect example of contrasting the yellow, the warm with the cool. Get a little bit of green in there, because I don't really want it to be yellow, I want it to be yellow-green. And we're going to get that shadow in there after a while. But right now, just going to get that yellow in there. Get it back here too. In the distance. Some trees back there that are getting hit by sunlight. And we have to have some down here in the water too. Some green, yellow. Make sure that green shows up. Have our little cabin in the woods. Our little cabin. Yeah, we'll work these shadows after a while. Right now I just want to get this yellow-green kind of everywhere. And these dark shadows from the house too. I'll put them in here, of course. Okay, let's get some darkness now over here. Some darkness for the underside of the trees. Dark greens. Make sure the edge of the house is still very noticeable. Here we go. Just get a lot of that there. We're going to have a lot down here too. So whenever we put something up on the land, we have to have it reflecting in the lake here. Yeah, very, very rough at this point. get some green that's more obviously green. And then go ahead and yellow it down a little bit. Let's get this down here. Go ahead and add some blue to that also. I'm going to add some more color in just a little bit. Add some colors that are just out of the blue, some oranges and just some reds. There are some things on the porch, let's say, that just are wood or just painted different colors, you know, something different to reflect into the water. That's what I want. I just want these colors to come in here. Not really clear what those are. Just have them all reflecting in here. Okay. Let's see if I can get some of these greens, a little bit more green looking. Bring some of that down here too. Yeah, just keep doing it. Just keep adding the colors. I'm going to use my dirty gouache, my dried up gouache. Try to accentuate some of these yellows and the greens. Okay. All right, now let's try. Hope we don't ruin it. Let's try to put some yellow on this roof. The sun is shining right on the roof and right across the house. It's a very bright day. Change some of these whites to yellows, and then bring some of that down to the lake. Okay, let's get some of the darkness back into the lake. Some of this dark green. Our lake house, that's what I wanted it to be, a lake house. Not a cabin in the woods so much. Okay. I think I'm done. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to mess up the back of the card. I need to smush it around. Just add some more blue to that so it seems to blend into it. There we go. Just dirty water. So the back of the card looks interesting. Okay, let it dry, then I'll fold it up. Okay, there it goes. It's folded. It's a card. There's the back with the smushy paint job. And there's our cabin on the lake, or lake house. Our lake house, what do you think? Looks like a nice place to be. All right, well, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.